Okay, I'm going to revise the portion that we covered yesterday. So, the main theme of the chapter is Louis Fisher is trying to convey that with good leadership and good kindness, you can overcome any trouble or any injustice. And this we see through Mahatma Gandhi, right? Because under Mahatma Gandhi's guidance and leadership, the peasants of Champaran, they were able to voice against injustice, right? They were able to speak against this ancient landlord agreement that was that pestered them, right? So how it began? Rajkumar Shukla, he is an ordinary man. So indeed it can be said that in freedom, it is not necessary that there will always be a person who comes from a high-profile person can come and help you, right? Even an ordinary man can also contribute to freedom. And Rajkumar Shukla, he's one of the peasants. He's a common man, and he also contributed to freedom. And how did he contribute? Because Rajkumar Shukla, he was one of the resolute peasants who went to the convention of Indian National Congress where he met Gandhiji, right? Because the other peasants, they were silent, they were timid, they did not raise their voice. But when it was intolerable for Rajkumar Shukla, he went to this Indian National Congress convention in order to find a hope, in order to find a solution to his problem. And this is where he was told that he must meet Mahatma Gandhi, right? And when he met Mahatma Gandhi did not know anything about Champaran or the peasants and their problem, right? So Mahatma Gandhi did not decide any date because he asked him to come to Champaran, but he was unaware. So he said, I'm busy. I have to be here and there on this and this that. But Rajkumar Shukla, he was very determined. He followed Gandhiji everywhere. Gandhiji went to his ashram, he followed Gandhiji, right? And when Gandhiji came back, he followed Gandhiji. So he did not lose Gandhi's sight. So Gandhiji was so impressed by Rajkumar Shukla that finally he decided that he would meet and he would go to his place, Champaran. So he asked Rajkumar Shukla to meet me on this day in Calcutta. And when the month passed by, the Rajkumar Shukla, he arrived at the meeting spot before Gandhi's arrival, and this also tells us that he was very resolute, he was very determined, right? And he is a brave person who wants to, speak against. Because in those times, people were afraid of, they were even afraid of supporting the people who were advocating home rule. Understand? So Gandhiji said that then they both boarded a train to Patna, and when they stopped at Patna, the peasant Rajkumar Shukla, he took Gandhiji to Rajendra Prasad's house. Why? Because Rajkumar Shukla, he wanted Rajendra Prasad to inform Gandhiji more about the issue. But unfortunately, Rajendra Prasad was out of town, so Mahatma Gandhi and Rajkumar Shukla was attended by the servant, and the servant mistook Mahatma Gandhi and the Rajkumar Shukla as one of the as untouchables. So they were not allowed to enter; they were only allowed to sit on the ground. And also, he did not allow Gandhiji to draw water from the well. Why? Because India was not just fighting British, British atrocities. We were also fighting social evils amongst ourselves, right? And then what happened? This visit was very unproductive because they could not reach Rajendra Prasad. So Gandhiji decided they would stop at Muzaffarpur, because Muzaffarpur is on the way to, it lies somewhere between Patna to Champaran. And so he made one of the professors of art college of Muzaffarpur, and when they arrived at midnight, the professor was at the station with a large body of students. And in Muzaffarpur, Gandhiji stayed for 3 days. He was offered shelter by a teacher called Malkani, Understand? He stayed there for 3 years, for 3 days, sorry, and it was a very extraordinary thing because Gandhiji was advocating home rule and he was offered shelter by a government employee. Understand? Then Gandhiji got to know that the lawyers, they're actually asking too much money from the peasants in order to represent their case. So Gandhiji scolded the lawyers because it was this does not show any humanity, because those lawyers they were Indian, right? So they were supposed to help those peasants, but they were not helping. And then Gandhiji came to this conclusion: what they need to do is they need to make these people brave, self-reliant, so that they could actually raise their voice against injustice. So it was pointless taking the case to where? To law courts. First thing they need to do is they need to unite everybody. He needs to unite everybody, and everybody need to understand that in order to find a solution, they have to be brave. They should be able to fight for their rights. Got it? And then what happened? Then he reached Champaran, right? He reached Champaran. Then when he reached Champaran, he stayed in Motihari, and in Motihari he found about a peasant was it was mistreated by the British, ill-treated by the British landlord. He went to examine, he went to investigate, and he was stopped by the superintendent of the police, who asked him to return. And when he returned, he handed him the official letter. In the official letter, he was asked to leave Champaran or quit Champaran, but he disobeyed it. He signed the receipt, and on the receipt he wrote that I disobeyed. And eventually he got a summon from the court. And when he appeared in the court, he pleaded guilty, and the court could not decide the judgment because there was a huge crowd who was supporting Mahatma Gandhi, and the British officials, they found themselves in a helpless situation because they could not decide, they could not give judgment, because if they would give any judgment that is unfavorable to Mahatma Gandhi or to the peasant, they will have to face consequences, right? So they wanted more time so that they could consult to their superiors. So they said that they would give Gandhiji a break of 2 hours, and meanwhile Gandhiji can apply for bail. But Gandhiji said that he would not pay a single money for his bail. You understand? So finally Gandhiji was allowed to roam without any bail, and they said they would announce the judgment after a week, and they did not announce the judgment. The lieutenant governor of the province, he dropped the case because they were in a fear of the consequence. Understand? And then Gandhiji went to British landlord to get more information. He was bullied. He went to commissioner of Tirupur district. He was bullied, and he was asked to leave. Understand? And then what happened finally? He wrote a letter to Viceroy. Understand? And then the Viceroy formed a committee. They formed a committee, and the committee started looking into the matter. Okay, so they formed a committee, and Gandhiji and Gandhiji's supporters, helpers, they started gathering the evidences. So now we will continue from the page number. We'll start from page number 52. 52? 55? 51? I think we have to start from here. Can you start reading? Several days later, Gandhi received a written communication.
Several days later, Gandhi received a written communication from the magistrate informing him that the lieutenant government of the province had ordered the case to be dropped. Civil disobedience had
triumphed.
The first time in modern India.
Right, so I think it was a huge victory because the case was dropped, right, and they won the civil disobedience. And then Gandhiji's and the lawyers, they started a full-fledged inquiry and they, into the grievance. Grievance means complaints of the farmers. So they received around 10,000 peasants complaints, right? And they collected everything, and the evidences and the documents were collected too. And then it was a very long process. They were able to have all the data, evidence, and the loopholes. And in June, Gandhiji was summoned to Sir Edward Gate, the Lieutenant Governor. Before he went, he met leading associates and again later detailed plans for civil disobedience if he should not return. And then he was called by the Lieutenant Governor. So Gandhiji informed the party behind him that in case if he did not return, you would continue the process, right? But this gate, I think this much I have explained already. He formed a committee, right? And the committee started looking into the matter. And Gandhiji was the only sole representative in this committee. Everybody was they were from British, but Gandhiji was the only one. So Gandhi remained in Champaran for an initial uninterrupted period of 7 months, and then again for several short visits. In the beginning, Gandhiji never thought that he would stay in the Champaran for such a long time. But how long has it been? It has been 7 months. Understand? It has been 7 months. So the visit undertaken casually on the entreaty of an unlettered means uneducated peasant, in the expectation that it would last a few days, occupied almost a year of Gandhi's life. So entreaty means Gandhi thought that he is just helping. He is coming to Champaran in order to help this peasant Rajkumar Shukla, but he never thought that he would, he would stay in the Champaran for almost a year, right? And it almost. So the official inquiry assembled a crushing mountain of evidence against the big planters, and when they saw this, they agreed in principle to make refunds to the peasants. But how much we pay? They asked Gandhi, right? So this committee investigated, and they probed, and they found out that the peasants, they were actually mistreated. They were at loss, and the planters were the culprits, right? So now the question is, they were ready to compensate, they were ready to pay back. So the question is, how much they should pay? How much should they pay to the peasants? They thought he would demand repayment in full of the money which they had illegally and deceitfully extorted from the sharecroppers, right? Deceitfully means betraying. So the planters, they thought Gandhiji would demand 100% of compensation, right? But what happened? To make refunds to the peasants, but how? He asked only 50%. How much Gandhiji asked? He asked for 50%, and there he seemed adamant. Adamant means he seemed very rigid here, that he would not accept less than 50%. It seemed. But then there is a missionary. His name is Reverend. Reverend means respected, right? Because he is a member of a church. Who missionaries are? They spread their faith and belief, right? So Reverend J.Z. Hodge, a British missionary in Champaran, he was observing the entire episode and thinking probably that he would not give way. The representative of the planters offered to refund to the extent of 25%, right? So the planters, they tried to negotiate. They said that Gandhiji would not accept 25%, right? They said they would only pay 25%, and to their surprise, to his amazement, Gandhiji even accepted 25%. Initially, Gandhiji seemed adamant at 50%, but Gandhiji was he was comfortable with 25% of compensation. And the reason being is, thus breaking the deadlock. What was the deadlock? The deadlock is that the settlement was adopted unanimously. Unanimously means when everybody approves it. That is called unanimously. So the settlement was adopted unanimously by the commission. Gandhi explained the amount of the refund was less important than the fact that the landlord had been obliged to surrender the part of the money and with part of their prestige, right? Because in those days, the British official, they used to think they are the god, they are the one who rule over Indian people, right? But now you can see that they are having to surrender. So they did not only surrender the money, they also surrendered their pride, because they were very pridey, right? So therefore, money was not at all not an issue. I mean, they were not concerned after money. The planters had behaved as lord above the law. Now the peasants saw that he had rights, and defenders he learned courage. The important thing is the peasants they understood that they too can fight for their rights, and they have supporters. So this was the biggest victory, right? Money was not at all important to Mahatma Gandhi. What was important is to make those peasants self-reliant and courageous. Even justified Gandhi's position. Within a few years, the British planters abandoned their estates, which reverted to the peasants. Indigo sharecropping disappeared, and the planters, they disappeared. Indigo cropping disappeared, and the fertile land, the fertile lands were given back to peasants, right? So now Gandhi never contented himself with large political or economic solutions. He saw the cultural and social backwardness in the Champaran village and wanted to do something about it immediately. So, for Gandhi, looking into political matter is not the only satisfaction, right? I mean, he was not into, he also wanted to, when he saw that Champaran people's living condition, that they were living in backwardness, right? He wanted to uplift the living standard of the Champaran people. So his politics, his social work is not only related to what? It's not related to politics. It is also related to day-to-day problems, right? Day-to-day problems of common life. That is why he stayed Champaran for a long time, in order to uplift the standard of people living in Champaran. Now, can you read from here? Gandhi never contented himself.
Gandhi
I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to make one more video because. Okay, so we will continue from this part. Gandhiji was able to draw the British force away from India, right? Especially from Champaran, because they left, the planters they left, and those fertile lands, it were given back to the peasants of the Champaran, right? Peasants of Champaran. But Gandhiji was not satisfied, because he was able to have the peasants of Champaran, but the very moment when he noticed the living condition of the people, of the villager living in Champaran, he thought that he must do something, because Gandhiji was not only into politics, he was also into raising people's standard. So now read, please.
Gandhi never contented himself with large political or economic solutions. He saw the cultural and social backwardness in the Champaran villages and wanted to do something about it immediately. He appealed for teachers, Mahadev Desai and Narhari Parikh, two young men who had just joined Gandhi as disciples, and their wives volunteered for the work. Okay, so Gandhiji could not tolerate this fact that Champaran is living in such backwardness, right? So he decided that he would help the people of Champaran, because initially he helped the peasants, right? This is the political affair, understand? But now, he wants to help them in their day-to-day problems, understand? So he called upon a few teachers whom he had known, right? And who are they? One of them is Mahadev Desai and Narhari Parikh. They are two young men. They joined Gandhiji as disciples, and Gandhiji's wife, she also volunteered. Understand? Several more came from Bombay, which is now Mumbai, Pune and other distant parts of the land, and there were other volunteers who came from different parts of India. Devdas, Gandhi's youngest son, he also joined the fight, and arrived from ashram, and so did Mrs. Gandhi, right? And Gandhi's wife. So the first thing, primary schools were opened in 6 villages. They opened primary schools in 6 villages. Kasturbai taught the ashram rules on personal cleanliness and community sanitation, because this was a very common problem in India, because for latrine they used to go out in open area, understand? And this is also a cause of cholera, diarrhea, and so many contagious disease. So, and in villages it was a common sight, right? So he asked Mahatma Gandhiji, he asked his wife to taught ashram rules, to teach them about personal cleanliness and community sanitation. Even the health conditions were miserable,
Gandhi got a doctor to volunteer his service for 6 months. So Gandhiji knew a doctor, he called upon him, and the doctor came and he stayed in Champaran for how many days? For 6 months. Ayush, Khatri, give it to Rohit. Rohit is going to read the chapter. I mean the remaining part, because he's... So, he made 3 medicines available. One is castor oil, quinine, and sulfur ointment. These were 3 medicines that were available, during those times. Castor oil, sulfur ointment, and quinine. Anybody who showed a coated tongue, he was given a dose of castor oil, right? And anybody with malaria fever, he received quinine plus castor oil. And anybody with skin eruptions, he received what? Ointment. Ointment is malam plus castor oil. So these are the common medicines that were available during those times. But now we have the advanced medicines, right? Please speak in English. Gandhi noticed the filthy state of women's clothes. He asked, his wife to talk to them about it. One woman took Kasturbai into her hut and said, "Look, there is no box or cupboard here for clothes. The sari I am wearing is the only one I have." And Gandhiji noticed that the women in Champaran village, they wore very dirty saris. I mean, they were they were not clean. Understand? So he asked his wife to talk about this issue. So when Gandhiji's wife, she talked to a few women, a woman took Kasturbai to her house, where she found that they had no box, they had no cupboard to keep sari, and moreover, she just has one sari to wear. So it was a very pathetic condition. So during this long stay in Champaran, Gandhi kept a long distance watch on the ashram. Gandhiji, he was helping the people of Champaran. Also, he was keeping an eye on his ashram too, which is in Ahmedabad, right? He mailed all the instructions to his ashram, and he would ask for financial accounts. I mean, he was looking everything. He was looking his ashram. He was looking into his ashram's affair, and he was also looking into Champaran's affair, right? So once he wrote to the residents that it was the time to fill in the old latrine trenches and dig new ones, otherwise the old one would begin to smell bad. And in those times, people were so illiterate. They did not know anything about hygiene. I think it's a common sense. If your latrine trench is overflowing, right? If your latrine trench is overflowing, it means you need to cover it up. Understand? So Gandhiji is even giving simple instructions that now your latrine is overflowing, you need to cover it up, and you need to dig a new one. Because if it is overflowing, it means the house fly, it can cause various contagious disease, right? So people actually need to understand. And they were so dumb that time. I don't know why. So the Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhi's life. Why Champaran episode is called a turning point in Gandhi's life? Turning point means which changes the whole situation, right? Because initially Gandhiji never thought that he would come to Champaran and he would stay in Champaran for such a long time. Understand? And this Champaran episode, it began only on the plea of this peasant Rajkumar Shukla. He was the sufferer, right? He was the one who was oppressed by the oppressor, right? So Gandhiji just wanted to help those peasants. He never thought that he will step into this, a huge political matter. Do you realize that from coming to Champaran, then going to court, going to British landlord, commissioners, lieutenant governor, it is a long process. It is a huge and long political affair. And just not a political affair, Gandhiji also, in Champaran, when Gandhiji stayed there, he also, do a lot of things in order to improve their living standard. So that is why it is called the Champaran episode, because it also changed Gandhi's life. It also changed Gandhi's life in somehow. Okay, but Champaran did not begin as an act of defense. It grew out of an attempt to alleviate. Alleviate means to reduce the distress of large numbers of poor peasants. So Champaran episode, it actually began in a view to help Champaran people. It was never began with a view to, to draw the British or to raise or to start a campaign and to advocate, to disobey law and order, right? It was just began with an intention to help Champaran people, but in the later part, it took a different turn. It took a different turn because Gandhi's, this was the typical Gandhi pattern. Why is it called a typical Gandhi pattern? Because in Gandhi's, whatever Gandhi is doing, right, it will not only be restricted to politics. You will see that in the political affair, you will see the Gandhi will also look after the problems that is related to your day-to-day life. So his work is always intertwined with with politics and day-to-day problems of the millions that we see in the Champaran, right? So in everything Gandhi did, moreover, he tried to mold a new free India who could stand on his own feet and thus make India free. So he made the people self-reliant. He made the people self-reliant so that they could actually they could speak against any injustice. Can you read Rohit last part, early in the Champaran action?
Early in the Champaran action, Charles
Freer Andrews.
The English pacifist
who is pacifist? Pacifist means who never engages in any kind of war. And pacifist is more like someone who puts an end to a fight between two people. You see, it is called pacifist. Understand? So the British fellow Charles, Andrew, he was a pacifist, and he was a very devoted follower to Mahatma Gandhi. Read.
Who had become a devoted follower of Mahatma, came to bid Gandhi farewell before going on a tour of duty to the Fiji Islands. Gandhi's loyal friend, though it would be a good
idea for Andrews to stay in Champaran and help them, right? So, please don't use Hindi words. So what happened? Andrew is he is one of the he's a British, right? He's a Britisher. So, but he was a pacifist, and he was devoted to Mahatma Gandhi. So Mahatma Gandhi's followers and advocates, they thought it would be a better idea to tag along Andrew in this noble cause. But Gandhi was, vehemently opposed. Vehemently means he strictly opposed, and he said, "You think that is this unequal fight? It would be helpful if we have an Englishman on our side, because this is an unequal fight." So he told the lawyers that this is your fight. This is the fight of Indian people. You cannot engage an outsider or somebody who is from a different descent, right, into your fight. This is your fight, and you will have to fight for it. So this shows the weakness of your heart. If you will engage a foreign body in your own fight, this will be like that you are weak. That is why you need somebody else's help. The cause is just, and you must rely upon yourselves to win the battle. Your cause is just, right? Because you're fighting for justice. It is your cause, and you have to fight your battle on your own. And you should not seek a prop in Mr. Andrews. You should not seek a prop. Prop means assistance or help. You should not seek any help from Andrew, because he happens to be an Englishman. That is why Mahatma Gandhi rejected to take any help from Andrew. Although Andrew could have done a lot. He was a pacifist, right? But he said no. He had our minds read correctly. Rajendra Prasad comments mentioned, he had no reply. Gandhi in this way taught us a lesson in self-reliance. He made everybody self-reliant. He taught a lesson of self-reliance, that we need to find courage. We need to be brave. We need to be smart. Right? We need to fight our fight on our own. We need to raise our voice against injustice. So, because this is term second syllabus, so term second is objective based, not objective based, is subjective. So you may have long questions from this chapter, right? So we will also do the long questions from this chapter. Got my point? So that's how he made Indians self-reliant, and he helped the sharecroppers to, because even the sharecroppers, they were not together, they were not united in the beginning. because Rajkumar Shukla was the only one who was running here and there looking for help, and there were a few peasants, those who hired a few lawyers. But the help only arrived when they all gathered, in order to show their support to Mahatma Gandhi. Because the peasants of Champaran, they walked to Motihari, right? They walked to Motihari on their own. So that's all for today. I will share the PDF of the question answer so that you can write it down. And then on WhatsApp, and from tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will do the MCQs of all the previous chapters. So that's all.